You guys are both known for being very politically astute and very politically savvy. Can you talk a little bit about how that's been either empowering or if it's been at times challenging, either as a woman or a musician within your career? Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, should I start?
Yeah, I want to know. I'm really interested in what. This is a question I wish I would have asked because I'm actually really interested in your answer.
I mean, for me, it just kind of, like, I wasn't political going into music. I don't think I even considered myself a feminist, and I didn't really know anything about feminism at all. But I just started encountering stuff that was pissing me off all the time. Because in the little scene I came from was very liberal, like, open-minded community, and then like when you enter the real world, all of a sudden,
like you didn't feel like you had to like label yourself a feminist.
Or it just didn't. I didn't even really think of myself as like a female, or it was just everyone just did what they did, and it was pretty chill. So it was all of a sudden really weird to come out and just be like, I'm like, yeah, like, you start getting compared to only female musicians, which is and it's all of a sudden like there's all this weird stuff that, I don't know, your femaleness suddenly becomes a huge part of what you are.
A bigger point than you thought it was.
Yeah, or even just you start experiencing things that are like, whether it's like, I don't know, just being mistreated or not taken seriously or whatever. And so I just kind of started, I don't know, I have to articulate things when I feel them. So I just kind of started getting into that. And yeah, I don't know. How about?
I started my career feeling like I was a feminist performance artist, like playing a person in a band. Like it was a role that I was taking on, like my big fake eyelashes right now. But I think coming out and saying, hey, like we're radical feminists or whatever, it kind of opens you up to all this crap because people not only focus on your gender no matter what you say, but then it's like, well, you're a hypocrite because you wear makeup and that means you're not a feminist,
right.
or you do this,
or once, and I'm gonna hold that over your head.
I feel like a huge part of like talking about feminism in the context of pop culture is just explaining what it is. Or I mean, not that there's one definition for feminism.
No,
but
that's a really good point, though. I feel like people don't come out and just say, like, we can talk, like, it's suddenly okay to talk about sex, right? In pop culture and music, but if you want to talk about feminism or sex together as a woman or as a musician, like, I like the fact that you're like, we can actually talk about that. It's okay. We're all grown-ups. It's fine.
Well, I feel like there's so much kind of, I don't know anything about the waves. I was going to be like, maybe it's second wave. I don't know. But, like, I feel like there's all this kind of, I see a lot of pop stars coming out and saying, like, no, well, I'm not a feminist because I don't hate men and that kind of thing. And I feel like that's
so outmoded.
Well, not necessarily outmoded. It's just there's been so many different incarnations of feminism, and there's been so many different, like, people saying it's something it's not or whatever to, kind of shut it down. And so I feel like there's all these misconceptions about it. Or, when you say I'm a feminist, it's pretty open-ended. That can mean a lot of things. Like, I know a lot of feminists, like, who are much more extreme than I am or whatever. So, or much more less extreme. I don't know. But, sorry, I'm rambling.
No, it's kind of makes sense. There's as many different, kinds of feminism as there are women in the world. I think, like, we each have our own way we do feminism. You know what I mean? Like, my friend Tammy Ray made this really awesome statement about how it's not something that you are, it's something that you do in the world. It's a verb. Mm-hmm. And you don't have to call yourself a feminist to, like, do things that are, like, empowering to yourself and to other women. The problem I have is, you come out and you say you're a feminist, and all of a sudden nobody ever talks to you about your music, and you're supposed to play every domestic violence shelter benefit, which I am totally thrilled to play, but, like, why aren't guy bands asked to play things like that? You know what I mean? Like, and it starts being like the onus of responsibility is on you to always talk about sexism or racism or homophobia, and I'm like, why aren't guy bands who are apolitical supposedly ask the same kind of questions that people who say I am political? Because I believe everybody is taking a stand, whether it's apathy, you know what I mean, or stepping forward and saying I care about ending all oppression in the world. And that's what my form of feminism is. It's not about climbing the corporate ladder and making a bunch of money and stuff like that. And it's about, or like, wearing high heels while, you know what I mean, like, screaming woman power or something like that. It's, like, about ending all forms of oppression. And I start with sexism because that's where I experience it.